Okay, so we're starting a new unit on genetics. Genetics is the study of heredity. And heredity is just the passing down of traits from one generation to the next. So from genetics, we have the word gene, G-E-N-E. And we'll talk more about genes as we go out through this unit, but it's like traits. So heredity, again, is the study, traits that are passed down from parents or grandparents to their children and their children's children and so on. Anybody tell me what this is? Kevin? DNA. It's a strand of DNA. It has a specific shape. Anybody know what the shape's called? The name of the shape? Okay. Well, it is a horseshoe shape, but there's a specific name for it. Close.
A ladder. It looks like a ladder.
So it looks like a spiral ladder. A spiral that isn't two-dimensional, three-dimensional spiral, kind of makes a spiral loop, is called a helix. But there's two of them that spiral around each other. So what do you think we call that?
Spiral helix.
Matt? It's a double helix. So a helix is one spiraling. There's two of them that spiral around each other. It's a double helix. So that's the shape of DNA.
So is the ladder spiral?
Yeah. That's what DNA strand looks like. But it's called a double. Just like that. So we'll talk about chromosomes. Chromosomes are located in the nucleus. So they're located in the nucleus. They look like little X's or H's with a little connection in the middle. And that pulls them together. So that's what a chromosome looks like. We're going to take a picture of it. We have chromosomes in every single one of our cells. They're all the same. And the chromosomes are the instructions for your cells. So, look at the word instruction. What does that mean? Instruct, okay? So let's try and use a definition or description that doesn't use the words. So what does it mean to instruct? Give directions, to direct. So it's directions for what our cells need to do, what they produce, or how they function. And they're important because they pass on traits to offspring. So they hold the traits, they carry these traits that we pass on to our offspring. So your chromosomes have traits that when you have offspring, or if you have offspring, will be passed on to those offspring. And your parents passed on traits to you through their chromosomes. So all organisms have chromosomes, because all organisms have functions, and they need something to tell them to do the functions. The chromosomes do that. They have traits. Humans, kind of gave it away, but for those of you who didn't see what I just put up there, anybody know how many chromosomes humans have? What? 46. So you may have thought maybe 23. Who here was thinking somewhere in the 20s? Okay, right? Okay, so you're right in a sense. We have 46 individual chromosomes and 23 pairs of chromosomes. So this little X or H shaped is a pair of chromosomes. Each one of those individual straight lines down. So there's a chromosome here on this side, the left side, and a chromosome on the right side, and then they're connected in the middle. So they kind of make that X shape. So humans have 46 individual chromosomes, but they're all paired together. So we have 23 pairs. Cats have 34 individual chromosomes and 17 pairs. And those carry all the traits of what it is to be a cat. And R46 contain all the traits of what it is to be a human. Goldfish. How many chromosomes do goldfish have? 18? 24? Okay. 90? We're just showing the numbers. What are we, was that like an actual guess?
12.
Gavin says 12. No. 22.
15. 6. I said 6.
Ben says 15.
12.
28.
10.
28, 12. Okay.
2. 8.
5,000.
I'd say most of you aren't very close.
5,000.
Goldfish have 94 chromosomes.
He said 9.
Somebody said 90, but I think he was just, and then he said 300, so I think he was just throwing out. I think they were just guesses. Somewhere between 0 and a million. Oh, that's just a guess. So, if goldfish have 94 chromosomes, 47 pairs, why didn't you guys all say like 17, 22? Because like humans are bigger than, like the way I look at it is like humans are big, we're complex, cats are a little smaller and less complex. Goldfish are really, you know, tiny and not that complex. Well, so what you guys, I want you to understand is that chromosomes have nothing to do with like complexity or what an organism is or looks like. They just have as many chromosomes as they have because they have that. That's how they evolved. It doesn't, you know, there's, you know, some, goldfish not really big. They have a lot more chromosomes than we do. They just happen to happen. That's how they evolved. They have more chromosomes. So chromosomes aren't related to how like big or like complex. They just have how many chromosomes that they have. Most important one to know, and we're going to spend most of our time talking about, especially in human genetics, will be humans. So we have 46 chromosomes, 23 pairs of chromosomes. Any questions? So this is a human karyotype. Anybody have a guess of what a karyotype is? Tatum? Close. It's a picture or a map of our chromosomes. So this is the karyotype. It's got the 23 pairs of 46 chromosomes, a picture or a map of them, and it shows the chromosomes. That's all the karyotype does. It just shows the chromosomes in a cell. So it's a map of someone's chromosomes. This is another version of a karyotype. This is more commonly seen, especially when we're looking at a map of someone's chromosomes where they're broken up based on their pairs and they're kind of spread apart evenly so you can identify which pairs are which. And they're usually identified based on how big, long they are. So we start with number 1. We have 23 pairs, so it goes 1 through 23. The longest pairs will be 1, and those, as you go up in your pair number, the size of the chromosomes decreases until you get to 23. And then I'll explain why 23 is a little different. So the normal human karyotype has 46 chromosomes, 23 pairs. So from what we remember from reproductive systems, how many chromosomes come from each pair? 23. How do we know it's 23? How did you know it's 23? Yeah. We said like, remember sperm and egg make one cell. So we have 46, you would assume that half comes from each. It's just how they order them. The chromosomes carry different information. Yeah, they can vary different. They do the same things. They provide information and instructions, but they carry different instructions. So their job is the same to give instructions, but what instructions they give are different. And they just organize them this way. They won't look like this in your cell. They'll be just totally jumbled up. But this is just the easiest way to identify them. And you can tell what's going on. So 23 chromosomes are derived from each parent. They come from each parent. And sex, the sex of the organism, is determined by the 23rd pair of chromosomes, which is the X and Y chromosomes. And I'm sure you guys have heard that before, right? X's and Y's. So this is the 23rd pair here. This one is this particular karyotype. They have the 23rd pair separated just to show X and Y separate. Males are XY. So this is a karyotype of a male. Females are XX. So that's the 23rd. So if you have two X chromosomes and your 23rd pair, then you're a female. So about half of this class are XX, the other half are XY. Anything about it? So, males are XY. What do you guys notice about the two chromosomes of X and Y? Yeah, one's big, one's small. The Y is very small. It really doesn't have that much genetic information. Doesn't give much instruction other than, Matt, you're a guy. Pretty much all it tells you yourself, saying, you're a dude. If you don't have the you're a dude chromosome, then you're not a dude. So now you're not a dude because you don't have a Y. Why don't you have a Y? Because your dad didn't get So, remember what we said, guys. So, a father gives half of his chromosomes, right? The mother gives the other half. So, the mother is always going to give, so each one of these pairs, one of these will come from the father, one came from the mother. The X actually has a lot more genetic information than like instructions for. So we all have this because we all need at least one. And then the Y just kind of says you're a guy. So you can kind of say women have more genetic information than guys because they have that full X other X chromosome. So that's about as far as you can say. So if the males give question 2. You can't have a YY. And I'm about to explain that. So if males give half, they give one of the chromosomes from each pair. Females will always give one what? Which sex chromosomes? An X. And a male can give X or Y. So they only can be XX or XY, depending on what.
So there's like 3 X's.
No, there is no YY, because you can't get a Y from a mom, female, because the female doesn't have a Y. So the only time you get a Y is if the father gives it.
So you're only a dude if your dad gives.
Yep. So meiosis, we talked about this in reproduction. You guys, what is meiosis? For cellular reproduction, meiosis produces what type of cells? Do you remember?
Sex cells?
Sex cells, and they're called what? Who knows what sex cells are called?
Oh, does it start with
Nick?
gametes?
Gametes. Very good. So meiosis is for the creation of gametes, which are sex cells. What are female sex cells called? Female gametes. Abby? What's the female sex cell? Kendall?
Eggs.
Yeah, it's the egg. And who knows what the male sex cell is called? Micah?
Sperm.
Yeah, sperm. So our sex cells are eggs and sperm. Females have eggs, males have sperm. So during meiosis, the chromosome number is reduced by half. So these are regular body cells. They have how many chromosomes? Does a regular body cell have? In a human? 46. So after the cell goes through meiosis, how many chromosomes does the sex cell have? 23. Does that make sense to everybody? Because it reduces by half during meiosis. Reduced by half. So we go from a full regular body cell has 46 chromosomes. Sex cells only have 23. And we'll talk about why in a second. So they go through meiosis, and during meiosis, you actually produce 2 gametes for every normal body cell that's producing these sex cells. Because it splits, and now you have one, of each half of those sex cells. So in the female, it splits off. We have our 23rd chromosome is an XX pair, correct? We all agree? So when it splits off into 2, half of those chromosomes, one of those X's goes into one egg. The other cell it creates takes the other set of chromosomes and that other X. So all those pairs get split in half and then put into 2 more cells. So now you have 2 eggs, each with 23 pairs of chromosomes and that 23rd chromosome, not 23 pairs, 23 individual chromosomes, and that 23rd chromosome will be an X. Males do the same thing, except what does their 23rd chromosome pair look like?
A Y and an S.
It's an X and a Y. So when they split, one sperm cell is going to have an X, and one sperm cell will have a Y, plus the other 22 chromosomes from each pair. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes? No? Yes?
Yep.
Yes? Yeah. If it doesn't make sense, tell me. Because if you don't tell me, I don't know it doesn't make sense. Because it makes sense to me, but I went to college and learned that stuff in college. So if we have an X sperm that fertilizes, we talked about fertilization, right? Which happens where? Where does fertilization occur? Think back to reproduction. Yeah, where in the reproductive system? Kendall? Yeah, in the fallopian tubes. So this is happening in the fallopian tubes. Not meiosis, but fertilization. So we have the X sperm, it fertilizes an X egg. No, it's just. So what would the offspring be? What's the sex of the offspring?
A very girl.
Female. Kind of, why is it female? Yeah, we have an X and an X. What about this X and that egg? What's the sex of that one? Female, because we have an X and an X. If this Y fertilizes that X, that egg, that sperm, yeah,
Because it's going to be a guy.
it's going to be what?
A guy.
Male. What about if this sperm fertilizes this egg?
A guy.
It'll be a male. So gender is determined by what?
Like what sex? Like what chromosome?
Who determines the
The
sex?
The male.
The male or the sperm. And why do we know that?
Because it's either an X or a Y.
Yeah, the male is the one who either passes on the X or the Y. Females only pass on the X. So it's up to the male on which sperm fertilizes the egg, because the egg is always going to be an X. So it's up to the male, not really up to the male, but it's dependent on which sperm from the male fertilizes the egg, on what the sex is. So how do we get a karyotype? How do we get this map of cells? There are chromosomes. Well, it's through amniocentesis. And you guys should recognize that from reproduction. So amniocentesis is a test where a very small amount of fluid from the amniotic fluid is collected from the amniotic sac. What? No. And it's what's around the fetus and inside the uterus. And that sac contains cells of the fetus cells. So they're taking not cells of the mother, just cells of the fetus alone. and they make a karyotype from that. And they use karyotypes to check for genetic abnormalities such as Down syndrome, cystic fibrosis, muscular dystrophy.
I didn't get to
There's issues with the splitting of the chromosomes when you're going through meiosis, mitosis. Sometimes like a chromosome doesn't split properly, so you get like more than one chromosome or in each cell, and then they don't add up right, so you have more or less than the 46. That causes other things, other types of issues. That's like Down syndrome. You have an extra chromosome, and you can see that in the karyotype. Are there any of these that do? These are all extra chromosomes.
Yeah, these are all extra. Usually, I don't know of any lack of a chromosome.
Yeah, usually you wouldn't be able to fully. I don't think you fully develop the cell, like the body system, like the embryo wouldn't be able to, like it just wouldn't even develop.
Yeah, if there's like extreme differences in chromosome number, the embryo just doesn't grow and develop. So people are never born with like 3 times as many chromosomes or 10 extra chromosomes because that embryo just can't grow and undergo.
What? Not with the extra chromosomes. That's more of just a normal genetic.
What was
defect. The like extra like lack of a body part, like someone born without.
Yeah, those are sometimes called like birth defects, and not usually related to the chromosome, but just some issue that comes up during development.
So this is the karyotype of someone with Down syndrome. Looking at the karyotype, you guys look at the 21st pair. What do you notice that's different about that 21st pair? There's 3. So someone with, yeah, for Down syndrome. So Down syndrome is if someone has the 3rd chromosome in their 21st set, 21st pair, that's someone who would have Down syndrome under. Cystic fibrosis and all the other ones you can have, like this is called trisomal 21, and then there's I believe 13.
Yeah, trisomy 13 is another common.
Where the 13th chromosome has 3 chromosome strands on it. Right. So one on the left and the one on the right both have Down syndrome. What else do you guys notice?
The one's like an end. Like the second one's like an end. Like it's curving down.
But like here?
Oh, never mind.
Came up? Okay, there's bumps on them. But between just the 2 karyotypes, these are 2 different people.
One's a girl, one's a boy.
How did you notice that?
Where's
Ken?
XI?
X, Y, X, X.
Yeah, one has an XY, one has an XX. And you can tell the Y because it's really short. Like an 1/8 of the size of an X chromosome. So one is a male with Down syndrome, one's a female. So with karyotypes, so that's Down syndrome right there. That 3rd, 21st chromosome. When you have Down syndrome. So karyotypes. One thing karyotype shows is they show a person's chromosomes. So this is a person's chromosomes, this is a karyotype. Is the person male or female? Grace, is that male or female? Look at the 23rd. Remember we said about Y is really short, so those are the same or size or different size? Same size. So they're both X's. So they're what? Female. Yeah. So this is a female. And you can tell because if you look at 23rd pair, they're both X's. They're both the same size. So when you look at the 23rd pair, if they're the same size, they're both X's. If one's big and one's really small compared to each other, that's a male. That's the X and Y next to each other. For the bottom one, is it a male or female? Soraya. What? A male. And how can we tell? How do you tell? Yeah. If you look at the 23rd, you have a Y. Y with really short one and the X in the 23rd. So the 23rd pair in our karyotype tells us the sex. So if you want to know the sex of someone with a karyotype, you look at the 23rd pair. If they're both the same length, it's a female. If one's bigger than the other, it's a male. Do you have a question? Oh, you want to? Yeah, they have Down syndrome. And how can you tell? Yeah, if you look at 21, it has 3. So if it has 3 chromosomes on the 21st pair, it means they have Down syndrome. They'd have some other type of genetic, what do you call it? Genetic issue.
Oh, karyotypes, yay!
How are we doing on this? When you come in, I'm sure we can go over. Ask questions. I don't know.
Okay, there's this random like even though what's that I think it's Kristen because he called me back and he's really on the comments.
I call you Zach.
Oh yeah, I mean like he's just a random human called me Zach and not Swap.
Yeah, we're gonna go over. Yeah. So a lot of people weren't.
I am, well, now it's
Bye.